Heartless are the first big enemy force that we encounter during the first game of Kingdom Hearts 1. But did you know that there is a whole origin story behind these guys? Well, if you did not, there in fact is, and I am about to explain all of that to you guys. Sometime between Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 1, Ansem the Wise began experimenting and doing various tests, presumably on people, which now that I think about it, it's kind of fucked up if you ask me. But you may ask yourself, why did he even do this in the first place? Well, because he was shitting himself quite literally, okay, maybe not so literally, for people of Radiant Garden. He was scared of the darkness that was about to approach. By the way, he was conducting the experiments alongside Evan, who would later of course be known as Vexen. A person who was willing to get experimented on was an amnesiac Xehanort, or rather should I say Terranort, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole as that's a whole thing for a whole other video, and I don't feel like dragging this video out for like an hour or so. Eventually, Ansem the Wise and Xehanort, who was at this point already his apprentice, started doing experiments together, and unfortunately their subjects' hearts were collapsing one by one. They did their best to look after the subjects, which, I mean, I guess it's fine and all, but like, are you that fucking morally compromised or whatever the fuck it's called? My point is that this does not absolve them of everything that they did. One day, however, Xehanort went to check up on the subjects, and in their place, he found creatures of pure darkness, which in essence is what Heartless are. Oh, and can you guess what they did to those first Heartless? Can you guess real quick? I'll give you a few seconds. Actually, no, I'm gonna say it right now. More experiments. Who would have thought it? This is when the Heartless were actually given their name, and our favorite researcher and his apprentice followed a Heartless and were led to the heart of the world of Radiant Garden, where of course they were all based in. After this, a meteor shower happened which broke the world's shell, and now I might be wrong about this part, but I do believe that this is the event that made it possible for people to travel between worlds with the gummy ships. This is, I believe, confirmed by Leon or Yuffie or Aerith or one of them towards the end of KH1 in Hollow Bastion. Eventually, Mickey told Ansem, the not so wise, about the dangers of Heartless and gave him a choice: either save his world and other worlds by ending his research, or continue his research, which would put the worlds in more danger than they already were in. Also, before we continue, if you're enjoying this video so far, and if you're enjoying my content in general, subscribe to the YouTube channel as it helps me out a ton, and my current goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. While Ansem the Wise agreed to put a stop to his research in favor of greater good, his mentally unstable and morally questionable apprentice Xehanort was not so fond of the idea. And what did he do? He began experimenting again. He recruited Braig, Dylan, Evan, Alias, and Ienzo, who were the human versions of nobodies later known as Xigbar, Zaldin, Vexen, Alexius, and Zexion. Not only did all of them continue the research, but they became so obsessed with it that they all turned against Ansem the Wise and banished this guy to the realm of darkness, where he would spend the next few years. And with Xehanort now in charge, he would do more and more immoral and unethical experiments, going as far as essentially creating a lab or factory, whatever you want to call it, where he would mass produce Heartless. As more and more Heartless were made, they escaped and started terrorizing Radiant Garden and its residents, ultimately costing innocent people their own lives. This also affected all of the apprentices, and over the next few years, Heartless would spread around and destroy many other worlds, leaving only the Hollow Bastion part of Radiant Garden intact. The apprentices also left the castle, which was later taken over by Maleficent, who is there all the way up to the ending portion of KH1 when she is defeated by Sora, Donald, and Goofy. And at the very end of the game, when Ansem the Seeker of Darkness was defeated, who was kinda the leader of the Heartless if you will, all of the destroyed worlds were restored, and the restoration process of Radiant Garden began sometime after KH1 and before KH2. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this video. Leave your thoughts on this topic in the comments down below. Always love to read them and reply to them. Until the next video or stream, bye bye.